Welcome to the Great Game Debate Podcast, where friends come together to respectfully discuss, debate, and disagree about video games. As always, I'm your host, Caden Barrett Lane, and of course, joining me is none other than the godfather of the debate himself, Jonah Gomez. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's been a lot of good
philosophical.
There's been a lot of good video game adaptations lately, and it makes me happy, and I'm very excited for the debate we have today.
Yeah, I mean, well, as anyone who knows you or anyone who's watching can see your Fat Boy or your Pit Boy on your collectible shelf. It's a good time to be a Fallout
It's a fat man. I'm the fat boy.
That Boy's a better name, right? We should call it. Just one sentence answer, Jonah. But have you dipped into any Fallout games since the show came out?
No, but I've been watching so many like modded videos, and it's taking everything that I have to not download New Vegas and just
for sure
dump a billion mods into the game.
Mm-hmm. And of course, we have the pleasure of being joined by the saucy Aussie, Stephen Beaumont. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, good, man. Funnily enough, smooth brain dummy boy Jonah got me back into reading.
Well, yeah.
Reading with heavy quotation marks, although they say, yeah.
We're consuming the books.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
we're being intellectual.
I had started and stopped reading Oathbringer a couple times, and so Jonah caught up to me in the Stormlight Archives, and I was like, damn,
you guys are tearing through.
Maybe I can give this a go. And yes, I'm about 10 hours in so far, so only 45 hours to go.
Yeah.
So the daunting prospect of it is pretty it looms large, but
you gotta listen to it at 1.1 speed.
I can't because I need the accents. I need everything.
Yeah, the voice actors are really good too for this audio.
Yeah, they do a really good job.
I feel like they read just a little bit too slow, but that 1.1 is just quick enough without it like sounding weird, you know?
Sure.
Some people say that we're better at 1.5 speed, so
yeah.
I know Hold It Hits chucks it on at 1.75 or something crazy.
I don't know. I need to talk like this for Holden.
Sorry.
It's the man with the golden voice, Mateo. How you doing, buddy?
Talk real slow. For Holden.
Man, I'm sad is what I am because man, I did not think that last Funhouse stream was going to hit me as bad as it did.
Ooh.
And it hit me right in the feels. It was a sad time. Big shout out to Funhouse for being a part of my life for almost a decade. I
got like the shrapnel because I don't really consume Funhouse, but I will listen to 30 Morbid Minutes, which is under Rooster Teeth as well, and that stopped, and I was just like, damn. So that sucks.
It's a shame.
Yeah, maybe our special guest this week can bring up the mood, but we're joined once again by the legendary David Burdette, lead editor at Gaming Trend. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. I was thinking about different things because Joan and I were talking about just Fallout merch that we have and whatnot, and I don't want to go get it right now, but I've got one of the Jones Soda Quantum Nuka-Colas.
I got the Liberty one there, and then I got the Quantum right there. Yeah, I'll grab them.
I've got the new one coming in because I had to have that, but I did bring out.
Oh,
let's go!
Oh man,
let's go!
He got that T45. He got that T45 helmet. That's
for the audio listeners. Some collectible power armor helmet.
Oh yeah,
I love any time that our podcast just turns into us just showing off our toys.
Yeah.
To each other.
I have way too many toys back here. So hopefully at some point I will be on this podcast and everyone will be able to see them instead of my green screen.
Yeah.
But I'm so lazy and just continue to not try to get one of the 3 desks down here out of here so I can move things.
When I was 22, I got this toy, and when I was 27, I got this one.
You have no idea how actually accurate that is. Because I've got so much stuff in storage. Sadly, I had quite a few things stolen and because I didn't think they were able to be grabbed, but I still have a lot of the stuff that I had, including I've got the BioShock Infinite Collector's Edition and
Very cool.
And then somewhere around here, I've got the original 2007 BioShock Collector's Edition with the Big Daddy inside.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
When I was 28, I got this one.
That thing is so vibrantly yellow. It looked like a clip art JPEG or something. You put it in your head.
Who would win in a fight, Luffy or Power Armor?
Oh my god, I'd love to see that.
What?
Yeah, audio listeners,
what gear is Luffy in when he's fighting?
All right, friends. Well, I hope you stopped by Cog HQ and picked up your Lancer because it's time for the icebreaker. All right, Jonas definitely got to put a chainsaw.
Yeah, I got to put a chainsaw sound effect in.
Oh, now we need it. Yeah,
there you go.
I'm just gonna cut that out
and just put it back.
All right. Well, our icebreaker this week comes in from community member Tongue Surgery, who we love. Shout out to Tongue Surgery. Thank you for the questions. Recent Nintendo Switch online offerings made me think of this. What game did you receive as a gift that wasn't really on your radar, but you ended up liking? I saw they added Iggy's Wrecking Balls on Nintendo 64 to Nintendo Switch Online, and I remember I got it as a Christmas present when I was a kid. I'd never heard of it, but I ended up liking its unique side-scroller racing and weird aesthetics. On brand for Tongue Surgery, because they're noted F-Zero enthusiasts, so that racing tracks. But has anyone ever heard of Iggy's Wrecking Ball, first of all? I'm gonna have to look. I don't even know what this looks like, but I'll jump in here. I didn't really have any good reason to growing up, but I just never touched Dragon Quest. I didn't watch a lot of anime growing up, so I didn't know who Akira Toriyama was, and I was too busy playing serious JRPGs like Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy XII. I was like, what is this cartoon? Nah, I'd see it on the store shelves, and I lived in the American South, and nobody around me played JRPGs besides me and my brothers. But when I was in my first year of college, my roommate, he knew I was a gamer, so I was hanging out in the dorm room playing PS3 instead of doing my fucking classwork. And for my birthday, he went to a pawn shop and got me Dragon Quest 8, and I was like, oh, that was sweet of him. I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not. And then that game consumed me. I was like, oh, this is literally one of the best RPGs ever made. So shout out to my buddy Ryan for the Dragon Quest 8 hookup. Steven, does anything come to mind to you for this one?
Yeah, it's really hard to think of stuff that's not the first console or handheld or whatever you had, because I can't think of times where I got gifts that I probably wasn't forewarned about. I think of my wife got me Ni no Kuni, but I knew that I wanted Ni no Kuni. It wasn't it came as a surprise because we were a massive Studio Ghibli household. So it really would have to go all the way back to the 64 pretty much, and so I guess anything for us, Lilac Wars or Star Fox 64. I'm not a big sci-fi person, but man, I love that game. That's such a good rail shooter.
Yeah, definitely. Very cool. David, you got anything for this one?
Yeah, I've actually got I guess technically two, because one of them I don't know that it completely works, but it's a special story to me in my life.
Sure.
The first one would be believe it was my grandparents had gotten a couple of PS2 games for me when I had just gotten a PS2, and one of them was NFL 2K3.
Nice.
And I wasn't really a kid that did a lot of sports or anything like that, but that game literally made me love the game of American football.
That's cool.
And I straight up started actually playing it with my brother in the yard and stuff like that. And we would
Nice.
We got to the point. I mean, we were like developing plays. Like we would actually call out like certain like blue 42, and he knew what that meant, and stuff like that. We ended up playing with kids in the neighborhood, all that kind of stuff. But like that game specifically means a lot because it actually made me love football.
Wow.
The second one, the second one would be it's a little different of a situation because it's a bit of a game that I wanted, but it's the way that I got it. My dad, we'd went to pick up a game, and I had a friend who said, "Hey, you should pick up Kingdom Hearts, the original one."
Yeah.
So I didn't know what it was going to be like or anything like that. I ended up going into the store. I had a game, an old football game to trade in, funny enough. And when I got up to the counter, the guy was pretty much like, "Yeah, this is worthless." So I was kind of sad. I was sad, and I know that now after working at GameStop for 12 years back in the day. I know why that's so worthless. But we were a family. I grew up without a lot of money, and we didn't really get anything beyond birthdays, and even that was really small. And my dad actually walked up the counter and paid the $15 to get Kingdom Hearts for me.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
And I fell in love with the game. Myself, my brother, and my dad ended up beating the original Kingdom Hearts. And my sister even ended up joining in when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. So all four of us in our household, my sister doesn't play video games. So all four of us actually beat everybody but my mom jumped in on it. So
that is awesome.
It's a very special. That's a very special moment where Dad spent some extra money on a game that never ever happened in my life and created an enjoyment of a franchise that I now still love and can't wait for 4.
We dodged a bullet not doing the list today.
That's funny. I actually just want to jump in because actually Kingdom Hearts could work as mine as well, simply because I had a mate that was 3 years younger than me, and he explained that Kingdom Hearts was one of his favorite games of all time. And this is before I had like a smartphone. So I'm just imagining what this game is. And I was thinking it was like some really old, like vector graphics game or something. So like what I was imagining in my mind, and then like when I finally played it, I'm like, holy crap, this is actually a good game. Like this weird Disney game that I just expected to be like, some old trash game. So yeah, that definitely works as well.
You're talking about the number 27 greatest game of all time, Steven.
That's it, yeah.
Jonah, what do you got for this one?
Okay, so I got this little like match 3 puzzle game called Meteos, and I went to go Google it to double check that's the name. But there's a like professional League of Legends player with the same name, and so I'm like, who is this kid? When I Googled it. But yeah, it's like this match 3 game. And there's like different like alien races that you can be, and they have like different gimmicks for the launching and stuff. There's like one race I remember, and the base gimmick of the game is you line up the blocks, you tap them with the DS stylus, and it'll rocket them out. But there's one where there's one where it would just make them vanish. So I always played as that character, but like each planet had a different like gravity to it, so the blocks would fall slower or faster, and you'd have to have more lined up in order to launch the blocks off. It was a really cool game.
That sounds cool. Yeah.
But the music was so good, dude.
Hell yeah,
it's awesome. Nice. Yeah, you guys should check out the Meteos soundtrack. Meteos.
Was your match 3 phase like before or after your Subway Surfers phase?
This was I think I was in 4th or 5th grade when this came out. So before Subway Surfer.
I can actually visualize the cover art. Like I remember that game at GameStop. I remember it.
Yeah, the game ruled, but yeah, I got it for Christmas one year, and I was like, man, I don't like these match 3 puzzle games, and it just had so much
I guess play it. God.
And then played it all like this rules.
It's like Squidward and the Krabby Patty. He took a little bite and then started licking the sand.
Yeah. Mateo, got any anecdotes for us?
I've got the flip side of this. I had a partner's sister that for Christmas gave me a bunch of expansions to board games that I didn't own. Not a not a great gift. To answer the actual question though, I had a buddy back in like I want to say like middle school, high school, somewhere around there. He loaned me a copy of Final Fantasy VII, and
okay.
I had known nothing about the game at that point. I would get occasional Game Informer magazines or but wasn't reading it heavily, so I had no idea this game was coming out.
Yeah.
So a buddy gave it to me, went in pretty blind, played it, bashed my head against the wall at one point. He proceeded to loan me his game guide for the game.
Hell yeah.
Completely changed my experience with it. Fell in love with JRPGs at that point. Yeah, solid experience. Shout out to that buddy for loaning me that game. I don't think he ever even asked for it back. I think I tried to return it later on, and he said you enjoyed it so much you should just keep it.
What a legend, dude!
Right?
Have you jumped into Rebirth yet?
I have not because my docket is too full.
Yeah,
and democracy needs spreading.
Yep.
Rebirth was my docket.
Yeah. This is kind of like a tangent, maybe bonus question, but do you guys sometimes feel like a sense of relief when there's a game you've been looking forward to, then reviews come out and it's like mediocre or bad, and then you're like, oh, I don't even have to play this anymore.
100%, dude.
I don't know.
It feels bad. That could be a debate, but
it's definitely like it's the opposite of the zeitgeist. It is that because that does give you a sense of relief, because usually the zeitgeist gives you a sense of like FOMO, or it gives you a sense of like, stress, anxiety that you're not, up to date with what's what's hot right now. So yeah,
I think it still has to be fringe though, like in the sense of like I'm looking forward to it. But not necessarily I'm hyped for it, because like if, for instance, if Rebirth like came out and sucked,
crushed,
I would be really upset about it, because that was what I was planning my time around, compared to like I forget what game it was, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Like there's games that'll come out and it's like, well, I'm thankful that game wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Because now at least I don't care to invest my time in it. I think it's more on the interest spectrum.
Yeah,
like,
when you said
I guess Rise of the Ronin,
you hit the
Rise of the Ronin recently. Like I was really interested in that game, but then it came out and didn't review well, even though our outlet did really like it a lot. It was like, well, I guess I could probably skip that.
Yeah. I would have felt worse if like a live service game like Suicide Squad was reviewed positively, because then I'd be like, really? Now I've got to drop 250 hours into this, thing.
That's how I felt about Destiny 1, dude. Like, people are like, oh, this game's so awesome. This game's so awesome. I beat the main story and I was like, this sucked.
That's how I felt with Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown, when it came out.
Really?
Like,
oh, really?
This is reviewing really well. I kind of not the opposite. It was like, dang it, this is reviewing well. I'd like to make time in my schedule.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Stellar Blade right now, dude. I keep seeing people playing that game. I'm like, that game looks... Jokes aside.
I was originally going to be a part of the review process, and then it became crap. I have no time to be a part of this, and I have other people on staff that would like to be. It's theirs.
Yeah. Jokes aside with that game, like, I saw somebody running up, like, a water slide or something.
No, seriously,
and then they surf down it on their sword. I'm like, whoa! This game is just ridiculous.
When it came out that it's like kind of more like towards Dark Souls on the action game slider than Devil May Cry, I was like, oh, okay.
Oh my God.
So what's funny is that actually did push me on the other side, and mainly in the sense of I don't want to have to deal with this.
I want to struggle. Yeah.
I don't mind struggling if I'm not in a rush.
Yeah.
So, Caden, is another Crab's Treasure on your list, speaking of these Souls-like games?
Yeah.
I don't even know Caden like ridiculously well, but I know him enough to know that sounds like a Caden game.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. It's crazy to hear all the like very serious adult kind of environmental messaging and stuff. People are saying it's basically like the plot of Bloodborne, except microplastics are making everybody go insane instead of the old blood.
All I can picture is Caden playing that game, just jamming out the crab rave for like the 20 hours.
Giant enemy crab. All right. Well, that's probably wasted enough of our time, but let's move on to the interview. So, you've been on the show a couple times, David. Anybody who wants to, kind of hear about your past, how you got into gaming, can go check out our other episodes with you. I think you did like one of our first debates with like sniper rifles versus shotguns.
Yeah,
Check that
and
out.
absolutely wrecked me.
Yeah. The dude is a professional journalist, so beware, Mateo. So yeah, we just kind of want to hear, what's new with you since last time you've been on the show, and we know as a games journalist, Summer Games Fest is coming up, so we'd love to hear like how you're kind of like prepping for that and what that process is like. So
Yeah, last year was rough in terms of like there were just so many flipping games coming out.
Mhm.
I actually made several trips to LA late last year. I got to do some stuff with Alan Wake, like got to be in there in the room with Sam Lake, get a picture with him, talk with different
Cool,
people,
so
whatnot.
cool.
Did
Then
you
like went
dance
from
with
that
him
appointment,
though?
if only. Um, then went immediately from that to check out Rebirth. Was one of the first. I think they said we were one. I was one of the first like 100 people in the world to have touched that demo.
Oh man, that's so
Wow.
cool.
That was really cool. And that was like I said last September. But it's like I got back, immediately prepped both of these previews. Thank God they didn't have the same embargo because I had a little extra time on one of them. So I prepped all of this stuff, then immediately jumped straight into October, which was ridiculous because it's like I had that like this microphone that's in front of me right now. I was reviewing it and its sister microphone alongside Wildcard Football, Spider-Man 2. As soon as I finish those, Alan Wake 2 comes in. I actually did the review for Alan Wake 2 in 3 days. Did the entire
Wow.
thing and
Crazy.
wrote the entire 3,000 word review
Just
in 3
living
days.
and breathing that.
And wrote
Yeah.
the video review and got it up. Like
That's
thank
madness.
goodness the game was fantastic
Yeah.
because that would have been a lot rougher of a 3 days. It was one of those don't want to leave the screen kind of
Yeah.
enjoyable things.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say is I wish I had more time in the review process because like the more I digested it, the more it was my game of the year, and I would have liked to have like been able to have the time to talk about that in the review.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of
Get
how
that
I had to hit it.
those feelings
Um,
digested.
and then it's like I get done with that, and then have RoboCop and Call of Duty. RoboCop's fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, that game
Love it.
actually looks really fun.
But even then, it's like getting into Christmas. I'm writing our Game of the Year nominees and choosing all that stuff. I'm writing our holiday guides for people, all that kind of stuff. Like
Mhm.
it gets crazy. And then started out the year with going to another event for Rebirth,
It just
which was
doesn't
awesome.
stop these days.
No,
They're
this is
so,
20.
so saturated all year.
I see all these people talk about, we're in our gaming rut. I'm like, what are you doing? Like 2023 never ended.
Yeah.
Like we jumped right into Infinite Wealth, a Rebirth, a Stellar Blade, and all these other crazy games.
Yeah,
If
they must
anything, we had
have
an entire JRPG
specific.
renaissance
Yeah.
at the very beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Like it's just been great.
I-
And now, like you said, we're getting into everything else.
Don't we have
Mhm.
Elden
I
Ring
think that-
DLC in like 2 months?
Yeah, dude.
the way I've disseminated people's feelings on that is because probably I've had a similar start to the year where like I just felt so exhausted from 2023 that like it wasn't so much there's no games to play. It was just that, man, like the energy that I need to like get back
Yes.
before I can
Mhm.
really dive
Yeah.
in, and also 100% it's the year of like the JRPG, and so like probably a lot of those naysayers are also talking about like, oh, where are the Western developed games, which is just like,
No.
play some motherfucking video games for God's sakes. Like,
Jeez.
yeah.
And I totally understand that. Like energy, like I remember beginning of, I don't know if it was last year, it might have been the year before. It's 2022, beginning of 2022. I reviewed Dying Light 2 and Horizon Forbidden West back to back.
Dude, those are
And
huge
so
games.
When I say back to back, I mean I finished Dying Light 2, wrote the review, and immediately started. Like I actually had the game installed where I'd just installed it. So that was about 3.5 weeks that I did both.
That's
Um,
insane. That's
and it was
that's
just so
wild.
tiring. Like I ended up having to like just quit, not do any game reviews for like a couple months, and just do.
Yeah.
I just did like headset and gear reviews just because it was something different.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then last year, right before Summer Game Fest, I did. What were the 2 games back to back? They were awful. Oh, I assisted with Redfall.
Uh-huh.
Oh
Oh,
And then
right.
immediately did
no!
Gollum right afterwards.
Oh no!
And then headed to Summer Game Fest, which, like you said, it's coming up. And last year was really cool. Just getting to see, like, I've been around gaming for a very long time. I worked at GameStop for a very long time, so I'm very familiar. I would actually take vacation days just so I could watch E3. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
that
hell
was
yeah.
what I did. I would go sit at home, eat some stuff, sit there glued to the TV, watch all the
Mhm.
announcements.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Got to go to E3 back in 2017. I actually won a trip because of a video I did for Gears of War.
Nice.
Wow, very cool.
It was a like employees of GameStop special
Yeah.
retail kind of thing,
Mhm.
and won it, and it was awesome. But like going as a journalist is so different.
Yeah, you're working.
Um, People do not understand the level of working
Mhm.
that it is because I have before it, you're booking appointments. You are
Mhm.
you are this 30-minute session here, this 30-minute session here. You got an hour here, and then you're trying to balance like, what is the embargo for this? Can I post this as soon as I do this?
Yeah.
We'd wake up in the morning at about I would get up at like 7:45, get ready. We'd leave by like 8:45 to get to the campus at 9. We would immediately start at about 10. Like, and we would go from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock, hitting different
Ooh.
appointments. Some of it was you'd still take a break, eat lunch, stuff like that. They're really good at providing Keeley's campus was great because they were providing like food and they drinks and stuff like
Oh,
that.
hell yeah, that's awesome.
So Jeff Keeley, shout out to him. He's fantastic. It was really cool to get to meet him there. But you know, you're even when you don't have an appointment, like if we would have I scheduled it intentionally so we'd have some extra breaks. We would, if we got done, we'd be like, okay, let's go see if we can just impromptu appointment, like with somebody
Right,
that's
yeah,
not
fill
like.
the time.
So we ended up getting we probably got 2 to 4 extra appointments each day we were there, the two days that day. And the same thing
Impressive.
ended up happening when we went to Ubisoft's.
Mhm.
But the fun thing you run into is you go through this day of just appointment after appointment after appointment. We would get back, we would go get some food. We'd get back at like 7 o'clock,
Mhm.
maybe. My editor in chief's over there. He's either writing an article or he's putting video up on our YouTube. I'm sitting there writing articles. We would hit 1, 2 a.m. as we're closing everything
Man.
down. And
Oh,
we've posted 4 to 5 articles, 4 to 5 videos. And then we're hitting the bricks, but then we're getting right back up again at 7:45 to go and do the same thing again.
Yeah.
Again, while balancing all of these embargoes, hitting up PR on email. Like I'm on my phone literally thanking the person while also asking when we're going to get the asset pack so that I can have the video B-roll, the screenshots, all this stuff to
Mhm.
populate an article.
Yeah,
It's just
it's insane how many balls you got
it
juggling in the air.
a
like
Yeah.
lot.
people do not understand how busy it gets, but at the same time, it is like such a cool experience. Like
Yeah.
walking around getting to talk with these developers who are so passionate about what they do, about their games that they're bringing there, learning about these new games. Of course, getting to network with different people. Like one of the coolest people I met while I was there was Jake Baldino from GameRanks. He is one of
Mm.
the most genuine cool dudes. Just sat there, had a conversation with him while we were waiting for appointments. Hopefully, going to get to run
Nice.
into him again this year. Like met Greg Miller, met Ryan McCaffrey from IGN, like
Yeah,
all these
yeah.
different people. Like
That's sick.
it's cool because you walk in the room and there's some a little bit of imposter syndrome at the very beginning of it. But
Definitely,
then
yeah.
you walk in and you're like, look, you got the same invite they did. And
Mhm.
that's something my editor in chief always told me. He's like, look, they asked us to be here. We're
Mhm.
supposed to be here. Act like you're here.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
And
Nice.
that
definitely.
mentality helps you because then you just have fun while you're there
Mhm.
and
Definitely,
you
yeah.
just talk with people and get to just have a blast overall. And it was
Mhm.
really cool last year. Square Enix paid for a steak dinner for me while I was there.
Yeah.
We went and hung
Awesome.
out with
Awesome.
their PR at one point, so it's pretty cool to. I just told the story about Kingdom Hearts, like
Mhm.
the video game I played forever ago. That company bought a steak dinner for me.
Yeah.
Like that's
That's
like
that's
that.
cool.
There's
That's
nothing
cool.
cooler than
That's so
thinking about
rad.
that. The Final Fantasy 16 party was super cool too. Had Yoshi P walk by us. Like that was pretty insane.
That's great.
At the Rebirth event, I actually have pictures with Kitase-san and Hamaguchi-san. Like that,
Very
just
cool.
awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Like just the people you meet and get to make connections with. Like it's just something else. And
Mateo, we had it easy going to PAX, man.
Oh yeah, sure.
We wouldn't talk to a bunch of devs, and then we'd go party for like 6 hours afterwards.
Yeah, like there's straight no like what's really funny there is that there are what was it? There are like they've got actual like they had bars there, open bars at this thing. And I'm sitting there like I get that they're trying to smooze everybody, but as someone who doesn't drink, I don't understand like so like I went up to get water and they start reading me off the draft list. I'm like, fam, I just played Foam Stars and it's 10:30. Like
Hey, all this work I have to do. How do you
I'm
even
going
do
to
that? While you're on alcohol for sure.
This isn't the Foam Stars I was expecting, you know? But it's like, yeah, I'll say this though, having unlimited Red Bull was very necessary. So, one thing I will say, one of the coolest things is obviously when you're at these kind of things that there is some swag that you get.
Sure. Stuff we all get.
One of the
showing his toys
on my desk. I thought I had it on my desk. So we did get to have a really cool meet and greet with Techland, the guys behind Dying Light.
Oh, nice!
And we got to talk with them. This was actually outside of SGF because that's probably the nuttiest part. Is that not everybody can pay to be a part of Keeley's show. Understandably, a lot of people will book conference rooms in hotels around about, and they'll hit you up and say, "Hey, we know you're going to be in the area. Do you want to come over here to the hotel and check this out?" And so they had a little meeting with us, but I got this. It was they had on the table there was these pins, like just in like on a little cardboard thing, and there was a code on it. I'm like, okay, it's probably like a DLC, like it was the cleaver that you get in Dying Light 2.
Nice.
I was like, it's probably some special one, like has a mark on it or something. Well, they hand it to us and they're like, okay, hey, that just wanted you to let you know that's a Steam code that's on your card. And they're like, this is a special Steam code. Like, this code will give you every release that we have ever done on Steam. And every release we will ever do.
What?
Whoa.
So essentially anything Techland ever makes on Steam, like it's automatically.
I've never heard something like that.
That is the only time I heard about it is Valve actually gave GameStop managers a similar code for Valve products, but it's worthless because Valve doesn't make anything.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Easy for them to do that, yeah. But like Techland, it was super cool because I'm like, I literally every game they make, and I love their games. Like at least it wasn't like the people who made Redfall wanted to give me every game, which that game is in my Steam library, and I don't know how it got there. Just saying. I'm actually scared for my life. But yeah, having that's probably the coolest piece of swag I've ever gotten from any event. Like there's some really cool swag out there. My Final Fantasy VII Rebirth hoodie is incredible. Physical piece of stuff. Yeah. But digitally that's super cool. And I met Colin Kaepernick while I was out there.
That's
so
sick.
Very cool.
Awesome.
While we were at PAX, Mateo and I got codes to Wizard with a Gun.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I did not get the code because that line got crazy after the first day.
Well, and that's, I guess, the interesting thing about those things is like for us, it's like they just hand us that stuff as soon as we get in and stuff. So that's the nice thing about this is it is a lot more intimate of a setting. Like the campus wasn't overrun. Keeley likes to keep his events a little smaller. I think it'll be a little bigger this year as far as journos go, but like you felt like you really had the time to spend with these people.
Yeah.
And that's necessary just so you can give the full story.
Yeah. I love hearing those kinds of anecdotes, just, being able to make connections and just hearing that, because all these like legendary game developers, in your mind, you put them on this like untouchable pedestal. But when you hear these anecdotes, it's like, no, they're just normal dudes and they just want you to love their game, So,
yep, they love it as much as you do. So,
yeah. Have you gone to the Game Awards as well? In person?
I want to. It's mainly been a time logistics thing of I could probably have found a way to get there, but it's just been the time of year is rough on me sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
But I will be, of course, we will be there this year, and we do get to attend the live show that's actually at the Summer Game Fest show.
Yeah,
awesome.
Well, one thing I always like to ask, just because it just seems like games journalists these days are just so incredibly busy. Like, do you even have time to just like play a game like after hours for your own personal enjoyment, like not related to reviews, or is it just like everything you play is like coverage?
I think the fun that I run into is that a lot of it ends up being that I have to manage the time. Like back in the day, it was just, oh, I want to play this, and I just played it.
Yeah.
Whereas now I have to specifically think about what I want to play, and it's not even just the ridiculous amount of games because I'm like you all, I have a ton of games in my library in my backlog that I need to play. But it's just specifically managing, and like years like last year, it really was. I could not play anything else.
Yeah.
And the fun is I am in the live service sector too because I play a crap ton of Call of Duty. Me and my brother have a group with my dad, and we all play together. We're crazy because we play ranked Call of Duty.
Yeah, I tried playing Call of Duty with this dude. Oh my god, those lobbies, bro.
We played beta. Jonah was like bragging about his kills, and I'm sure Jonah is good. Jonah is good at the game. Let me preface this, but it was really funny because he jumped in, and the immediate thing out of his mouth is, "These lobbies are ridiculous that you are in." And the funniest part was my buddy and I, who was playing with Jonah, both had 40 something kills apiece.
Yeah, they're dropping like 20, 40 bombs, and normally when I'm playing by myself, I'm just getting like 20 something, maybe 30 kills on a good game, and I'm talking to them like, yeah, I can hold my own. I'd maybe get 8 kills in a game playing with them, and I'm like, what are these lobbies? This is insane.
Well, it's bad because I know Jonah heard me like yelling out spawns and all these things because again, I just play so much that, and I actually watch the Pro League. Like I watch that and watch what they do to try and figure it out. And my brother and I both love it. So yeah, we annoy our friends a lot because we're uber competitive with it. But like it's to the point like part of building a new PC is how fast will this run Call of Duty? Like I straight up bought the new monitor that I've got in front of me this year just because I was like, okay, it's 240 hertz refresh rate. I need that for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Because I built a computer that now is better than my monitor refresh rate. So, but that's probably the one I play the most.
That's cool. I'm glad that you have that though. That's awesome.
Like I cover the heck out of it. Don't get me wrong. Like I cover every season and whatnot. But like that's kind of my decompress. It's funny I say decompress, but I'm screaming like crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe I can call it decompress in the sense of at least I'm getting that out.
It's a catharsis.
Sure. Yeah.
It's the catharsis.
The screaming into the pillow type of thing.
But this year you did bring up like my single player games specifically. Like this year I have tried to intentionally delegate a couple more games than I usually would. And that gave me some time. I haven't played a lot of it, but I've been playing a little bit of Infinite Wealth.
Oh, okay.
Very cool. Yeah.
I've been enjoying that. That's been a game I'm specifically like, hey, I want to play this a little bit, and I want to go back to Final Fantasy 16. Rebirth just got me on the Final Fantasy
DLC. Yeah.
Oh geez,
Those are beefy games.
Hours in 2 weeks. I put 52 hours into Rebirth in 2 weeks to write the review. So
wow, yeah,
that's insane. That's so much, dude.
Oh yeah, it is a job.
Yeah, no, for sure, it's absolutely a job.
As a stay-at-home dad now, it takes me like literally like a month to put 50 hours into the game. So.
It's part of the reason I picked up a PlayStation Portal is like now I can do it at work during downtime.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, can actually get some use out of it. Well, thanks, Dave, for giving us a peek behind the curtain. It's always fascinating. And we'll take a short break and come back for the debate. All right, friends, before we get down to it, I'd like to give a shout out to our patrons. So shout out to Dan Giesland, Pucho, West, Dakota Falk, Randall Reborn Too Good, and Aunt Jay. We couldn't do it without you fellas. And as always, we'd like to give a shout out to our sister show, GGG Gaiden. They should be coming out
the week after.
I think
The week after this.
The week after?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, they're coming out with their next episode, and it's the community voted top 10 animal companions. So that should be a lot of fun. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, Joe.
Shout out to Robin.
All right. We, as it was hinted earlier in the episode, we're doing best TV/movie adaptations of video games, with David representing Fallout versus Mateo representing Super Mario Bros. 1993. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. David, as our guest, would you like to open or close the debate today?
I can close. That's fine.
Okay, David's closing, which means Mateo, you're starting us off. You've got 2 minutes on the clock. We didn't hammer this out first. That Steven or Caden, would either of you like to be an assist trophy?
I've never watched either of these two adaptations.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'd have to leave this as a raw debate.
I think this is a neat
duel.
debate.
A neat debate. Okay, no assist trophy on this debate. Although I would like to have Caden just do an assist trophy guessing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be great.
So what if I just pop them immediately when my first section starts?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll come up with something.
Caden, you've got
take a
30
college,
seconds on
yeah.
the clock to start this out. Mateo, you'll roll right into it after his 30 seconds. He's representing Super Mario Bros. 1993. 3, 2, 1, debate.
When Bowser said, "There's a ladder over there, Arisen," I really felt that. When Mario was sprinting around the open world and he ran out of stamina, and Bowser said, "'Tis not to be ashamed of," I really felt that.
10 seconds.
When they ran through the Goblin Forest and Bowser said, "Goblins ahead, Arisen," I really felt that.
Time. Mateo, go ahead.
So since Caden started us off with the Bowser quote, let me actually give my favorite Bowser quote from Super Mario Bros. 1993. At one point, King Koopa, Bowser, he says, "You know what I love about mud? It's clean and dirty at the same time." And it is just pure Dennis Hopper insanity.
Ooh.
And that's kind of like the theme with this entire movie. It was for our younger viewers that have probably never seen Super Mario Bros. 1993. It is not available anywhere to stream currently. You basically have to go to either the Internet Archive for a weird cut of it, or you need to go and visit your burned down local Blockbuster and salvage it out of the DVD pile there. It was this real fever dream of a movie. It was obviously inspired by the Super Mario Bros. Game. There have been 6 of them up to this point. The most famous probably being either Super Mario Bros. 3 or Super Mario World. It was directed by this husband and wife team that was most famous for making Max Headroom, which is this also weird 80s thing that it's not important. It doesn't matter. And it's got this crazy kind of cast, like Bob Hoskins from Who Framed Roger Rabbit is playing Mario. John Leguizamo in his breakout role playing Luigi Mario, as is established in the movie. You've got Dennis Hopper playing Bowser. It's wild, and it's even more wild if you look at like the original intent with the movie. Tom Hanks was the first pick to play Luigi. Arnold Schwarzenegger was going to play King Koopa. Dustin Hoffman or Danny DeVito were both up for Mario.
Oh my god, that would have been so much better, dude.
And Tom Waits was slated to play Toad. It is a bizarre, crazy movie. It's this dystopian sci-fi thing. It is it's this version of New York that is the crime-ridden New York City of Ron DeSantis' Wet Nightmare.
Damn it. The only thing they missed is, since they are twins, they could have had Danny DeVito as Small Mario and Arnie as Super Mario. Like, that would have just been the best.
Not actually twins in the movie. They are, John Leguizamo's Luigi is an orphan that is adopted by Mario to be his brother, uncle, mother, father, is what they say in the movie.
So he's Batman, essentially. I guess.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other twins.
David, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. You also have Caden as an assist trophy if you'd
Oh,
like
God.
to use Caden. 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, debate.
All right, so what else is there to say about Fallout? It is the second most viewed show on Amazon Prime, only lesser to Rings of Power, which Lord of the Rings is going to draw people. But the fact that it's beating out everything else is incredible. And why are people watching it? Because it's incredible. The respect to the source material is probably the thing I love the best about it, because when you watch as they walk into this world, everything feels like you really are in Fallout. You see the vault, you see the wasteland, you see the costume design being respectful. They're not pulling out these random, just this isn't Master Chief without his helmet and showing you his butt. Like this is pure Fallout when you watch it. And the thing is they're using it to tell an original story. They're not going to vaults, they're not going into these areas that you expect. They're loosely using these areas, and yes, some people are mad about some timelines that they completely misread, but they're staying respectful to what the games are, and that is, we're in this wasteland, we're going to go do a bunch of random side quests, and then at the end we're going to drop the most crazy bombs on you possible. And that is Fallout.
Yeah.
They have perfectly done it. They invested in the right things, because that's the problem, is we got a lot of investment in these adaptations, but not investment in the right stuff. They invested in good writing from Jonathan Nolan and these showrunners. Graham Wagner himself told me, he's like, I played 1997. So this guy knows what Fallout is. Mm-hmm. They've taken the costume, the designs of the world, they put it in there, and they've stayed true to what Fallout is, which is just a heck of a time, and this wasteland. It's just fantastic.
Caden aside, both very good openers. Steven, how are you feeling about this?
Very good. I was just writing down some notes for the for my final tally. So okay. Yeah, that was just, really. One starts out chaotic and one starts out with the cold hard facts, and I think that they're both they're both in a good spot at the moment. So
yeah. Caden, how are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I don't think anyone could be representing the Mario movie better than Mateo has so far. So he's doing the best that he can.
All right.
Thumbs up to Mateo. Fallout, thumbs up.
I got my guy. He's off camera over there, my little pit boy.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
boy.
Mateo, you got 2 minutes on the clock. We're going into the second round, the rebuttal phase. 3, 2, 1, debate.
So I can't disagree that Fallout is fantastic. So what I did is I went on Twitter and I looked to see what the angry incel population on Twitter is saying about this movie. So let me read some of those. The main character's got frog eyes. They changed the timeline. It totally ruined Fallout. Oh my god, I can't believe they put an incest joke in the first episode. But no, I mean, honestly, Fallout is fantastic. Here's my only problem with Fallout. I've got two actual problems with Fallout. First off, we were just talking during the break about how little free time any of us have. We're talking 8-ish hours of media to consume for this series. It's a lot. It is a lot compared to the minute, the hour 40 tightness of Super Mario Bros. 1993. The other issue that I have with this is that it's safe. Like the Fallout series is an adaptation for normies. It is it's so easy. It's such an easy transition to turn it into this TV show. I mean, the first episode plays exactly like the first hour of a Fallout game, which is fantastic and phenomenal. But the Super Mario Bros. 1993 went a little weirder with it. They had this source material of this game where a guy jumps on Goombas and eats mushrooms and gets big. And they turned it into this dystopian sci-fi movie about parallel dimensions that a meteorite striking the Earth caused, and they have to go to this parallel Manhattan that is Dino Haddon and save the day against King Koopa. And aspects of it that are adaptation, but they always do it in a weird way. Like instead of the Koopa clown car, that flying Bowser vehicle, it's an industrial bucket that's in the city that they're in. Instead of him using a flower to shoot fireballs, it's a gun. Like
so clever.
It's so clever. It's a firearm. It's a firearm. There, I see where they're going with it.
I see what they did there.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, David, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. You still have your fantastic assist trophy on the table if you'd like to use it. 3, 2, 1, debate.
So the thing about Fallout is, like I mentioned before, it's respectful to the source material. Yes, there's some safe moments in there, but it tells a unique story in that universe. That's what they're doing there. And you know what? I would rather enjoy myself for 8 hours than hate myself for an hour and 45. You ever question why it's not available to stream anywhere, Mateo? Because nobody wants to stream it anywhere. I know it's for younger viewers, but have you looked at those costumes? Like, dear God, the nightmares that those poor kids must have had if that's who they were targeting. And then I look and ask, this great cast that you're talking about that was supposed to be there, anybody question why they did not want to be associated with this movie? In fact, during a 2011 interview with The Guardian, actor Bob Hoskins was asked, what's the worst job you've ever done? He didn't stop. He immediately said Super Mario Brothers. Then he was asked what his greatest disappointment was, and he said Super Mario Brothers. And then when he was asked if there was one thing he could change about his past, and he said, I wouldn't do Super Mario Brothers. Mario did not want to be in the Mario movie. That's how bad it was.
Oh, man.
And then Dennis Hopper, he talked about his regrets. He said, my 6-year-old son at the time said, Dad, I think you're a pretty good actor, but why did you play that terrible King Koopa in the Super Mario Brothers? And he said, well, Henry,
30 seconds.
I did it because you needed shoes. And he said, Dad, I don't need shoes that badly. That's how bad that movie is. We're talking cult classic, sure, but I'm thinking more occult classic. How this one is. It is, at least with Fallout. There's no Fallout.
Oh, leaving it there 10 seconds. Man, that was pretty clean.
You basically gave David no time to prepare by giving him Mateo's pick at the last second, and he just pulled these quotes like total professional, stone cold.
All right, we're gonna go into the third round, but first I want to get Caden's take. How are you feeling, man?
Oh man, I just feel so bad for Mateo.
Steven, how are you feeling, man?
Oh man.
I'm good. There's still. It's been a rally. There have been points on both sides. So
yeah,
I definitely bring that up at the end. Yeah.
You are absolutely correct. There have been points for both sides. Mateo, we're going on to the third round. The closing thoughts. You've got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Just to clear up a bit of the points from my opponent this last one, Tom Hanks actually did not play Luigi because Tom Hanks had just been in a series of bombs, like terrible films. So he was toxic for Super Mario Bros. Movie, which is kind of funny in retrospect.
He also didn't want to do another one.
Bob Hoskins' son did love the movie and has always spoken very highly about it. They did a weird thing in this movie. This movie is actually not intended for kids. It was actually kind of weird that Nintendo signed off on it because the directors their intent was we're going after the parents so they can start relating to their kids that are these gamers. So it is a more adult themed movie. There was some creative issues. Apparently the directing team was awful. Like they were just micromanagers and terrible. But they did specifically target the adults. That's kind of why there's a weird kind of tone in the movie a little bit. But there are a lot of things to love. In my memory from my childhood, my nostalgia lens, Bob Hoskins, he just phoned it in the entire movie. Not accurate. Bob Hoskins and Luigi, although they were allegedly getting drunk between every single take of the movie, they do have fantastic brotherly chemistry. Bob Hoskins plays Mario as this grumpy, charming as hell dude. He says at one point in the movie, no woman can resist the charm of a Mario. and then he proceeds to go and seduce the necklace off of Big Bertha's neck. Big Bertha in the Super Mario Bros. 1993 movie being a large bouncer with spiky clothing instead of a big fish that tries to swallow you. Look, there's I just to reiterate, I think that it is very easy to love Fallout, and I think it's lovable for a lot of reasons. It is a fantastic adaptation. But for the weirdos out there, Super Mario Bros. 1993 is amazing. It was the first video game adaptation. It has a lot going for it. It deserves the cult status it has. And also, if I win, I will shave up my mustache into a Mario mustache.
Damn,
oh, that's cheating.
That feels like cheating.
Oh man, bringing out the heat.
But now everyone wants to see that.
That is technically not cheating. Mateo has made a promise. It has been recorded, so if it happens, we have to see.
I've just gotta be straight with you, David. If you want to win this, you now have to match something as crazy as Mateo having a Mario mustache. That's just the way it is now.
I'll get radiation poisoning.
I'll burn my face off and chop my nose off to look like a ghoul.
Ooh, the ladies love it though. I've been reading Twitter, dude.
Mateo, I think you need to take a break from Twitter, my guy.
I mean, we just had the conversation with Haley McClain about how much she thought Me Too was sexy. So,
you know what?
I believe it.
Hear me out. All right.
We need the hear me out debate, dude. We need to make that happen.
Yeah. All right, David, you have 2 minutes on the clock to close us out. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Well, I would say at least Mario isn't Rebel Moon, but the audiences actually like Mario better than Rebel Moon, according to Rotten Tomatoes. It actually has a 29 score on Rotten Tomatoes. Pretty bad. And as for your comment before about Bob Hoskins talking about his kid actually liking the movie, well, of course, he lost his kids. That's the only way kid was able to see his dad, was through the Mario movie. He's going to take what he could get.
Damn.
But all that said, Fallout, again, I like to enjoy my time. Fallout is such an enjoyable experience for a fan of what Fallout is. It captures what Fallout is. The characters. You have these 3 different protagonists that all lead you to this place, and you see Fallout on display. That's what Fallout does so well, is it embodies Fallout. That's what all these other adaptions keep messing out, is they aren't embodying what they are. And that's why I love Fallout. The ghoul, Lucy from the vault, she's that naive vault dweller. You got Maximus, who's this dumb dude who's just trying to bungle around in power armor, which that's literally what all of us did when we played Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. It's like, oh, what does this thing do? Like, you relate to it, and it's because it embodies the source that it is trying to be. Some may call that safe, but at the same point, we've seen way too many risks being taken in this space. And Fallout is doing exactly what it should do, giving us an original story, giving us that fun story that we love, but making it in a way that's respectful to what it's taking for it. This is truly Fallout 5, is a way that we can look at this, and even more can come from it. Fallout has its place. Super Mario Brothers, yes, it has its place, but unfortunately that place is in the trash.
Damn.
Oh.
All right. Well, that was our adaptation debate. Steven,
And I lose on the mustache.
Steven, can I get your vote?
Well, first of all, we'll preface it with this is the community vote, right? That you'll shave your mustache.
Yes,
for. So
yes, it is not you.
Our votes do not count towards this this shaving mustache. So they shouldn't sway us, but they still do. But there's some amazing points brought. I'm just gonna I've got a knock a point from from David, just because in his opening he said at the end of the season they dropped the most crazy bombs on you instead of saying they dropped the most crazy Fatmans on you. So that's like a point off there.
I can understand
obviously.
that.
Yep. And then
I was
also
making
there was
reference, but I didn't completely.
There was a Freudian slip from Mateo where he said it's you have a minute 40. I mean, an hour and 40. It's like, yeah, no, because everyone can stand about a minute and 40 of the Mario movie.
Not wrong.
I thought adaptation for normies. That's a good bar. I like that. That hurt Dave's case, but at the same time, going back and at it with David saying about how much it would have scared kids. And also saying I'd rather enjoy myself than hate myself for an hour and 40 is very true. And I was scared of it as a kid. So wet and like gross and sticky. Like this and all the costume design was just gross, like intentionally so. And then again, it swings back because you did say that they intended it for adults. I do feel like they could have hit the mark a bit better still, like doing that intention of, this is for adults to make them understand what the game is without doing it like, just some weird pseudo like dinosaur punk, steampunk, like, just gross out, B movie. Like, I feel like the intent was good. The execution just wasn't. And I feel like I remember, did Dennis Hopper have like a really like long tongue that he would like stick out and stuff?
He did. Yes, he did.
So like 100%, I've still got all that PTSD. So yeah, so with that in mind, as much as I want to see the Mario mustache, I've got to go with David on that one.
Right. Hayden.
Well, what the audio listeners don't see is David furiously counter-researching Mateo's points between segments. And if you're not watching the uncut version, you miss David's anecdote about no, that was part of the question. Sorry, Call of Duty, and the combination of his lightning fast research skills and intense competitive nature makes me more scared of David than I want to see Mateo and a Mario mustache. David gets my vote. But in all seriousness, Mateo did as best as he could with this movie.
Hey.
100%.
But David's his debate was fantastic. I mean, the level of research, the passion as a fan on display. Great job, David. Loved it.
Comes down to me.
The biggest Fallout fan on the
panel. Mateo, you had an opportunity to not shoot yourself in the foot, and you still did it anyway. You willingly did it. You
look, Jonah. Here's the thing. No
Yes.
one wants to hear a debate between The Last of Us and Fallout. How boring is that debate going to be?
Mateo gets my vote.
When our panel defends the memes, like that's when we get the good stuff.
Sorry, David. Yeah. You represented Fallout very well. I have all of my Fallout stuff in my case behind me, but Mateo represented our show.
David,
sorry, go ahead, Mateo.
David, as you might be able to tell from my debate, though, I absolutely love the Fallout series.
I totally understand that.
Fallout 1 and 2, some of my favorite RPGs of all time. Like, so good.
The fact that they somehow managed to make this is almost astounding. Like the fact that you could, because that's Last of Us is great, but it's straight adaptation. This, you almost felt like you created these characters and got to watch the story unfold. That's really how it felt.
Absolutely.
And attention to detail in the costume designs. Like I know you were there too, pointing. Look, it's the meme of look, I see that thing from the Fallout show and from Fallout.
No, you mentioned that the creators he was familiar with like the first Fallout games, like the first two. The 1st one, I forget what you said in your debate. It's obvious, like the humor is darker than the newer Fallout games. It's fantastic.
The code that is input in the very last episode is the
Mhm.
release date for the original Fallout, and
Yeah.
that tells you
Nice.
that they are paying attention.
For sure. Great debate, dude. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was
Oh, yeah.
awesome. I want to talk about Fallout, but to avoid spoilers, we won't talk about Fallout anymore. But we will talk about our last debate that we had, which was the best of the rest, boys. Chris and
that one.
Yeah,
Andrew.
and Chris and Andrew.
And Andrew.
Yep. Representing the years 1999 versus 1957. Another absolutely wild debate. It was actually pretty close. Winning by 3 points was 1999. So congratulations, Chris. You are still undefeated, sir.
Hell yeah.
That 1957 debate was so much better than it had any
was-
right to be, I think.
No, it was great.
100%.
And with that, we'll move on to the pitch.
It is now time for the pitch, where a handful of us panelists will have 2 minutes to do an elevator pitch for a mystery game we've been playing. The rest of the panelists can discuss and decide if they'd buy the game based on the pitch. Steven, I'll let you decide. You and I are up for the pitch this week. Would you like to go first or second?
I would love to go first.
Hell yeah. All right.
Ooh,
Jonah, can you count them down for us?
I can. Steven, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, pitch.
I had a choice between a couple games to bring today, but I just got off of a session. I'm 1/4 of the way through this video game, and I was like, nah, I have to talk about it, especially for other reasons as well. But let me start with, you know what the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was?
Mm-hmm.
Convincing you that a double jump is an upgrade. This game says no. This game says start with your double jump. And you know what else this game says? Start with your air dash and your normal dash. So air dash,
Yeah.
normal dash, fast running speed, double jump. And I was just like, are you legit? And then not only that, you get your first abilities in this. This is a Metroidvania game. One of my favorite genres, but I tend to prefer ones where I've got a gun. And this game gives you both options.
Hell
It
yeah.
says, do you want to play ranged or do you want to play melee? You could do either, and you switch. You could switch between the two at will. But you've got 2 separate skill trees as well. So as you like level up, so you get a little bit of XP every time you're killing enemies and finding secrets and stuff. Then you can unlock abilities. The coolest thing is the first unlock on the ranged weapon skill is
30 seconds.
is active reload. And so when you active reload, your next like 6 shots are going to be double damaged. So, and I didn't understand how good active reload was because I'm not a big Gears of War fan. Like I tried it and I didn't quite get it because I'm like, I'm just hiding and what am I trying to hit this thing for? And I kept on missing it and didn't get it when I was playing that. But when you're playing an action platformer Metroidvania game where you've run out of shots. Oh, are you serious? I'm running out of time?
Yeah, you're out of time.
Freaking serious?
Wait,
I
come
need
on.
more time to
Sorry.
talk about this fucking game. Oh my god.
Just finish that last thought. Finish that last
Well,
thought.
it has you
Loosey-goosey.
know this one, Jonah. It has the thing where like you're in a room and you know there's like a coin and you
Oh
gotta
my
like
God, I hate
you know
you
like
so
you like
much.
jump and you go like you get the coin. You know that one?
Whoa, Steven
Whoa.
collecting a coin in a platformer? Crazy!
Yeah.
It's a
Oh, but yeah,
callback,
when you're
David.
waiting
It's
and
a
you're about to
callback.
get attacked and you have to hit an active reload.
Shut up.
Oh, it feels so good.
Caden, how are you feeling?
You
Oh,
gave him more time for that just to make fun of you.
I know.
Yourself. Yeah, this is speak about language. I like the idea of like it is like weirdly like annoying and derivative that every single Metroidvania ever has to be like, okay, you're gonna get a double jump and an air dash as an upgrade at some point, and it's like they just all do it. And I kind of get that from a perspective of like trying to make the game accessible to like newcomers or like casual gamers because they've maybe not experienced it before. But I like the idea of like being like, okay, we're making a Metroidvania, like fucking everybody played 50 Metroidvanias by this point. Everybody knows what a double jump and an air dash is. Let's just get it out the gate from the get-go. And there's something to that too, where like when you are playing a Metroidvania where you have to unlock them, it's kind of annoying as like a veteran because it's like, okay, the movement just isn't gonna feel good until I get these abilities. How many hours do I have to play before I get this good feeling movement? And to just have it out the gate is just like, mwah, like I love that. So damn, I only have one question. Is there like a percentage tracker for map completion, and do you have to like pixel hunt the pieces of the rooms in the map and like jump into the corners, or does it just fill in the whole room?
It fills in the whole room instantly.
Yes, let's go.
It's unfortunate because I was listening to an interview with the dev, and it was something that they just didn't have time to implement properly because they did want to have a Shadow of War. You actually, when you get to a new area, you can see the whole thing when you bring up the map. So,
the whole area once. I got you.
It makes you think you can see everything. You can see, oh yeah, there's the side rooms, there's the challenge rooms. There are still secret rooms that aren't shown, which is good.
Cool.
So like at first I was like, oh, okay, that's unfortunate. They didn't have enough dev time to finish that off. But no, and the beautiful thing is it's got gorgeous art on the map, so it's really nice to open it up and just see what sort of like painting they put as the map color. It's really it's really nice. Yeah.
Map presentation, love it. Yeah, I'm in. I'm buying.
Mateo.
I have not gotten into a lot of platformers, but ever since Gunbrella, my mind's been open a little bit more. I'm probably in.
Okay.
I'm probably in.
I'm loving The Lost Crown. I picked it up. I started playing some more this weekend. And there's two things. I have a hard time with Metroidvanias, especially side-scrolling ones. I just have a hard time getting locked into those games. And then I just have a hard time playing on my Switch as well. So I want to say I'm in, but I'm probably not going to play it.
It's just not your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry. David, how are you feeling?
Can I get what is the setting?
Ooh,
the setting is African mythology, actually.
Oh, okay.
All right. So that
quite unique.
That definitely sounds interesting. There's a joke at Gaming Trend. If there's a game that I can slide in it, I will slide in it. Like that's I love that. Like that's how I play every first person shooter. Like, can I slide in this? So
good mechanic.
Immediately having all kinds of movement right available at my fingertips. I like that. Like, so I'd be in on something like that.
One of the greatest things was right at the start. It's like you need to go east. We must travel east, and then I sort of turn left, obviously, and go west. And they're like, "This is not east." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And the character says, "Yeah, I know. Trust me." Like, and I was just like, "Oh my god, you're a fucking gamer, dude." So this is Tales of Kenzara Zhao. Just came out on everything, and I don't know if it's on Switch. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm pretty sure it's on Game Pass, and I'm playing it on the PlayStation at the moment.
It's
on
one of the tiers of PlayStation. But it is
on
Plus. It is not on Game Pass, but it is on Plus. Yes.
Nice.
Right, it's not a game. And yeah, this game's been getting like positive reviews, like with a little bit of mix, sort of like high 7s ish. I haven't come into a contact with anything where I've gone, oh, this is less than an 8. Like, this is fantastic, feels fantastic. You're moving so quickly. This is exactly how, like, ever since Metro Dread, I'm like, if I play another slow character in a Metroidvania, like, I'm gonna kill myself. Like, I can't go back to that way. Like, because even at the start of Hollow Knight, which is a fantastic game, you are so slow, and you're jumping so tinily, and that's it. Just a wall jump, wall grab, air dash and double jump are not abilities I should have to unlock. You should just design your game around those things. Yeah.
I really respect you for this opinion, because weirdly, literally every single review I've heard of this game, everyone is criticizing the fact that you start with those abilities and don't unlock them. It's like they've just been weirdly indoctrinated into that as like a tradition that you have to do.
It feels so good. It feels so good just to run everywhere. Like, oh my god, it feels so good. I was like, oh man, I went the wrong way. I went to check something out because I'm like, okay, this must be the spot where I have to get this ability because it tells you what level of completion you do have on each map. Like, oh yeah, I'm missing one shrine or whatever it is. And I ran like all the way to the right and went, oh no, I have done this one before. Damn, I looked on the map again. Oh, there it is. Like, cool. So in some respects, it's nice having the full fog of war lifted, but at the same time, you can miss where you've missed, I guess. But I was like, oh, cool. That's where I have to go. Like, oh, I have to run back. Then I'll use a fast travel and I'll go back. And you move so fast that I moved past the fast travel point and was like, oh shit, I'm in like 2 more rooms over. That's how quick you move. So it's just been awesome. And the first unlock, I'll just say this one was dope. You could like freeze enemies instantly. So get your freeze, freeze beam, ice beam straight away. But it also freezes waterfalls, and then you can use them to wall jump. And it's just like, so good.
That's dude, cool. Give me alternate uses on weapons all day in video games, dude.
Everything's got to have 2 uses, just quick shout out to like the global video game development community. Like, we're finally getting to a point where just like the resources to develop video games are kind of just almost available everywhere. And video games have been so dominated by like Japanese and Western European mythology for like forever, and it's just really cool to see something like this. So
definitely.
All right, we'll move on to the next pitch. Caden, step up to the pitcher's mound. You've got 2 minutes on the clock for your pitch. 3, 2, 1, pitch.
Okay, so this game is targeted at you, really, Jonah. It's a game that's designed to try to make you feel like the smartest person in the room. And the way that it accomplished that is you have a party of NPC companions that are extremely chatty. It's like Final Fantasy 15 style, except for they just say the dumbest shit. So, like, I'll give you some examples. You're out hoofing it on the open world, trying to get from one town to the next. One says, "You run everywhere." No shit. No shit. Okay, here's the next one. You have to camp sometimes to like regain your resources, get your HP back, whatever. They'll say, "We'll never get anywhere if all we do is rest." No shit. There's like the setting is like pretty medieval, so there's lots of wooden ladders around to climb up to like the city wall or like get into like the watchtower. You literally are in the middle of climbing a ladder. Look, there's a ladder over there. You walk by, you're on the battlements, okay? They got dragons in this game you gotta kill. There's a big ass ballista loaded with a big fucking bolt on the battlement. A ballista is a ranged weapon. No shit.
30 seconds.
So this game has like a crafting system, right? And you're like 100 hours into the game. You know every recipe in the game. For like the 1000th time, one of your companions says, "Different materials result in different combinations." No shit. No shit, guy. That's about all I got.
What was that pitch even, dude?
I like to feel like the smartest person in the room.
Oh my god.
This sounds like the game for me.
I'm in. I sound like a genius compared to these guys.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. I cannot stress enough also like how few dialogues they actually have. And they just constantly on loop. You're like
Caden,
in the same town for like 2 minutes.
You need to talk into the mic to make a podcast.
Oh, sorry. I mean, no shit. You made me actually think I was doing something wrong. You got my head.
I'm in. I'll bite.
Sweet.
Steven, how are you feeling?
Yeah, no, it reminds me of when like Aloy picks up like a health herb and she's like, "This might be useful later."
Yeah.
Like, no shit.
I figured out what game this is. This is God of War Ragnarok.
God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah. You're on fire, brother.
That's been made in the last 3 years.
David, are you in or out?
I know what game it is, so as far as like personally, I'm out. But I'll admit that before it came out, I was like, it was major FOMO, and I ended up as a part of the review squad on it, just so that I didn't have to have FOMO.
Nice.
And then I was like, played it for a while. I'm like, you know what, this is fun, just not my thing exactly.
All right, Mateo, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I already have this game. If there were co-op or multiplayer in it, I'd buy a second copy.
The games that you have all decided to buy or not buy is Dragon's Dogma 2. And,
wow.
Hell yeah.
Man, this game, it's a game. It's like... Go ahead, David.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, the biggest thing for me is I'm like, it feels like it's Elden Ring for dummies.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
I don't want to be like super upset dying and having to figure out where I'm going next, but I still want to have to figure out where I'm going next.
Yeah.
And just it feels like it's kind of just, do things and see if it works is kind of how that game. But with a more direction than Elden Ring.
Oh yeah,
and
sure.
without the same death penalties.
You got the quest log and the waypoint. Yeah, I'll say this game, like, it's just extremely good for a specific type of person. Like, for me, it's like a 10 out of 10, and it might be like my go-to consideration, but I 100% get it for anyone who is just like, this game is dog shit.
That's exactly how I felt about Elden Ring. Like, I started playing it, I'm like, I was just so every time I played Elden Ring, I was so stressed that I was gonna die.
Yeah.
Are you missing out on the coolest looking animations if you don't play a magic build? Is my question. Because every time I see magic in that game, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's.
But I haven't really seen much melee combat.
Physics and the way the game looks is incredible.
So, Steven, I've only played martial classes so far. So, for me, it is my companions, my pawns, casting big magic spells, and suddenly my screen is just covered in chaos, and I don't know what's happening anymore.
You really can't see because a meteor has just thrown a dust cloud up. And I will say I think it's more fun to play a melee class because you're a lot more active. Because mages, you're literally just standing there waiting for a spell to charge up. But
I was playing. I actually have on the Gaming Trend channel. I've got like almost an hour of gameplay where I'm just talking about the game and like. I'm talking about how things just happen in this world, and you can hear me talking, and I go around this corner, and all of a sudden this big wolf thing comes out of nowhere and like comes and attack it, and you hear me in the middle of this sentence go, "Oh dear God," and I'm like, "You see, this is exactly what I was just talking about."
Yeah, the great thing about this game is it is so chaotic in an intentional way. Like, it's insane. And the wolves are a really great example because they do this thing where if they break your like posture, like they make you flinch, they can just grab you in their jaws and they run off. They go like they'll drag you out of sight. If it's one of your
like, hit the save me button, save me.
You're watching your pawn just disappear around a hill. You're like, well, I guess they fucking did. Another example is the second region you get to is this like kind of like desert canyon, very like a lot of verticality. And the people that live there have built this transportation system of gondolas from like, kind of like cliff to cliff. And when you get in the gondola, like, you're just stuck in the gondola until you get to the next checkpoint where you can get off it or choose to keep going on the gondola line. And so you're on the gondola, you're just cranking away on the gondola crank. You see a griffin flying by and you're like, the majesty of a griffin. And then it turns towards you and you're like, and then it like starts coming. You're like, oh shit. And then the whole griffin just crashes into the wooden gondola and completely shatters it and all of your pawns, and you just fall and instantly die from the fall damage. It's just like, I literally could not stop that from happening. Like, that's just how this game rolls,
Nice.
But yeah, fucking love it. Shame about the multiplayer, but
solid game. Solid game.
Well, I think that about wraps up our pitches, so I'll turn things over to Steven for the game.
Welcome back to the game, everyone. I'm not Steven. I'm not going to try and do an Australian accent. Sorry. Today I'm hosting the game, and we're going to be doing it's 10. So we'll go round robin. I'll ask everyone a question. They'll give me a rating based off of the question, and then we will see what after the 6 questions, we'll see what that game is and where it's rated at. So, David, I'm going to start with you. This game, it's a 10, but it's got enjoyable side characters. Where would you rank that?
As far as like my personal ranking, not the game, right?
Not the game, just out of 10. Based off of it having enjoyable characters, it's a 10, but it's got enjoyable characters. How's that going to change your ranking? It can stay the same if you want.
Enjoyable side characters. I mean, personally, I'd have that as a 9.
A 9. All right. Mateo.
It's distracting.
It's still important, though.
Uh-oh, Jonah died.
I died. I can't read my own handwriting.
He's trying to remember his Aussie accent.
It's a 9.
Just
but
say Sega a couple of times.
It's a 9. But this game has crafting and base building.
Oh, man. It's a 7, dude.
It's a 7. All right.
Boo, I love crafting.
Caden, it's a 7, but it's an open world.
You know, it's like the open world games I like are almost like I like them in spite of it. So, you know, we'll leave it at a 7.
All right, Steven. It's a 7, but it's mostly in first person.
Oh, like I even know what this is, and it's like that hurts to say it like that because it's probably a 6.5.
Okay. David, it's you said 6, right?
6.5.
6.5. It's a 6.5, but this game is part of a long ongoing series.
Ooh.
And then, do I go down or up? Does it
Whichever
matter?
way your heart tells you.
Whatever your heart tells you.
Yeah.
We're at a 6.5 right now.
Raise it back to 7.
7.
Nice.
Long
All right.
ongoing series doesn't necessarily mean it's good.
Okay.
The legacy.
Mateo, it's a 7, but it's got a bland main character.
Oh, Jesus
man.
Christ. You're just tanking one of your favorite games. That's funny.
In the words of Australian indie pop band Architecture in Helsinki, it's 5.
All right. Fallout 4 is a 5.
Wow, damn.
See,
What
if
have
you
we done?
gave me the crafting question, I would have been like, that's a fucking
Yeah.
10. Like,
It
You
all
had me
depended.
at,
It all depended on how it was gonna
Yeah.
play. How Discord was gonna place everyone. All right, let's move on to our second game. We ended with Mateo, so Caden, we're gonna start with you.
Oh boy.
It's a 10, but it's got bombastic action moments.
Oh yeah, baby, it's a 10.
All right.
I want to slice a Metal Gear Ray in half with my high frequency superheated katana.
Hell yeah.
Steven, it's a 10, but it's got linear progression.
hmm
it's usually about a 9.
All right.
They
Dave-
can focus that vision. Focus
David.
design.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good question for you. It's a 9, but it's got middling gunplay.
Ooh, it's
Uh-oh.
a
Damn.
Middling.
Let's go ahead and drop that to a 6.
It's a 6.
Better have good, if you're gonna
Mateo.
put gunplay in, it better be good.
Mateo, it's a 6, but the game's in third person.
Oh, with middling gun.
gunplay. Ooh.
Well, we're gonna leave it at a 6. We'll leave it at a 6
6.
because Helldivers has shown me the third person can be good for
Okay.
shooting type
But
games.
with middling gunplay.
Mm,
Helldivers has great gunplay.
that yeah.
Caden, It's you said it's a 6, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a 6, but it's got a long-winded story.
Mm, you know me. I like that Metal Gear shit. You know. It's a 7.
It's a 7. All right, Steven, I think this is a perfect one to end on you. It's a 7, but it's got a quippy main character.
Oh, I don't know what it is.
Whippy Main.
A quippy main character.
Look, a ladder.
That's all I know about.
A whiz in a chest.
It's
critters.
like, if you had said like, enjoyable quippy main character, because quippy could just be really, really
Yeah, we don't
annoying.
know.
So it's probably
Spider-Man.
gonna have to go back down to the. Yeah,
Quippy.
yeah, he's quippy. He's
Or it
fun.
could be the game that it is.
Yeah, man, probably still a 6. Go back down to a 6. Probably.
Okay.
Quippy or is he thwippy?
What the
This-
what? What does that mean?
Thwip is like the onomatopoeia.
sound effect.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whippy, whip.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
you're a
I
fake
get
fan.
it. Well, apparently Uncharted 2 is a 6.
Oh no!
Oh man, you
That's a 10, that's a
undersold the
10.
shit out of that game.
Wait. Did Uncharted still have the grenades where you had to like motion throw them or whatever? The Uncharted 2, did
guess-
that
I
one
don't
have
think
that?
I guess
don't
that
think
is
it's-
true.
I don't
Middling
think
gunplay
it's
gunplay
full
is
required. I
true.
think that was only a first game thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's probably available but not required. But
Yeah,
that game
no,
is-
6-axis
that
was
game
dead
is
in the water
S
at
tier.
that point. Yeah.
Forgot what
Yeah.
I did for number 1.
the
for
only
this
reason
next
that
one.
game is that the reason that game is S tier is the story though and the characters. Like
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
For sure.
set and the set
Gameplay
pieces.
gets-
'Cause you don't give. I don't give a crap that the gunplay isn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
put
But I
that,
will agree, it's not very good.
you put that
I-
game on easy and you're a superhero.
Yeah.
I'm punching in those games anyway. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how the
Oh, yeah.
gunplay is.
Yeah,
There's
they,
some
they
coordinating.
added a lot better melee system in 2, yeah.
All right.
What a 6. What an absolute 6. I'd like to play that 6 right now.
6 out of 6, man.
We're back to David,
6
right?
out of
Yeah.
6.
All right. The game's a 10, but it's a cute little guy.
Oh,
Oh.
Kirby.
What do you think of David? Cute little guy.
Cute little guy. If
Jonah.
it was Kirby, it's a 10.
All right.
Well, it might be. Just on the off chance it's Kirby, we got to give it to
Exactly. I mean, you can't help it. That's so I give this like Kirby's Adventure, arguably my favorite game, one of the first games I ever played.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Mateo, the game's a 10, but it's got challenging combat.
Oh, we'll drop it to a 9 just because I'm not great at the combat, but I think that's a positive thing.
Okay.
It just probably drops my enjoyment of the
Okay.
game.
Caden, the game's a 9, but it's got a boring story.
Well, sometimes, especially if you've got a cute guy executing challenging combat, the story may just be a distraction. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
we'll leave it at a 9.
Okay.
That's exactly what Mateo said about the Mario movie.
Steven, the game's a 9, but it's a 2D side scroller.
Game's a 9, there's 2 scrolls. Just a cute little guy.
Mhm.
Man, this is Kirby.
And you only said side scroller, you didn't say like, so that doesn't really give me much. So probably an 8.
An
around
8? All right.
I thought it was going to be Tunic at first, but I was like, boring story, bland story, whatever you said, maybe not.
All right. David, it's an 8, but you can easily get lost.
Oh, jeez, I don't like getting lost. I played Elden Ring.
Oh, that's only because Jonah doesn't know how to find a map.
I'd
Now I know
probably
what
drop
this
it to a
game is.
7 if I can get
7.
lost.
All right. Mateo, the game's a 7, but the sequel will never come out.
Jonah, I have been in like the Steam powered, the Valve hand for so long. I no longer care if a game is getting that sequel ever or not. We're never getting Half-Life 3, and I'm fine with it.
Okay.
We've
I don't know.
dealt
Alan
with
Wake 2 gave me hope.
Mhm.
it. What did you say it was?
It was a 7, but the sequel will never come out.
You know what? Actually, that's even better. Maybe they can't screw up the story if the sequel never comes out. We're making that a 9.
All right.
Yeah.
Hollow Knight is a 9.
Mateo saved it.
Oh, wow.
Mateo saved it.
No. The sequel never- Yes, yay. It's a
You can easily get lost in that game. Yes, you can.
traversal map system. It's true.
Boring story. bullshit. Like, there's literally paper on the ground that tells you where the maps are. My God.
Yeah, boring story. I don't want to read. Why do you think I listen to audiobooks?
There are two kinds of people in this world: those that give their full attention to the game that they're playing, and those that are smashing A while they're listening to Spotify.
Smooth brain.
That's why I'm assured that every JRPG just ends with fighting God, because it's just A.
Yes. All right, Caden. This game's a 10, but it has puzzles.
Okay, I mean, it could go either way. We'll keep it at a 10. You know, there's good and bad puzzles.
All right. Steven, this game's a 10, but it's got third-person combat.
Third-person combat. That's the best kind of combat. That's a 10.
All right. David, the game's a 10, but it's got physical upgrades for the weapons.
Still a 10.
All right.
I'm concerned now that it's like a third-person combat game with a weapon upgrade system.
Captain America.
Puzzles. Like, I feel like the puzzles probably suck.
In all fairness, that Captain America game they did was underrated.
Is Jonah pitching Helldivers 2 and he's counting the stratagem call-ins as puzzles?
Maybe.
Oh my God, that would be so... It's not, but that would be brilliant. All right, Mateo. The game's a 10, but it's got scary enemies.
Ooh.
I love these
scared.
spoopy enemies, dude. It's a 10.
Caden, the game's a 10, but it's got 2 protagonists.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Especially if there's like differences when you pick the different... Like, that's just so crazy. So, yeah, 10.
All right, Steven, the game's a 10 still, and it's got a lot of collectibles. I know that's like your cup of tea.
Perfect question.
Now that's the problem though, is like your descriptor is a lot. I like a nice amount. So let's go down to a 9.
9.
Just yeah.
I think that's a good rating for Alan Wake 2.
Let's go.
Yeah, I knew what it was. I actually knew what it was when you said scary enemies. I guess.
I was trying to throw you guys off. Maybe it was Resident Evil 2, but...
You didn't say that this has middling combat though, unlike the other game, which I have heard that this has like 4 out of 10 combat is what I've heard.
It's not that
the
bad.
combat is not good, but it accentuates what it is.
Yeah.
Because I don't expect him to be good against these
Sure. It's the
apparitions.
L2 thing.
Yeah, like in your mind's eye, if you're picturing Stephen King fighting any of the creatures from Stephen King novels, he's not doing well.
He couldn't fight the van that hit him.
Even what's her face,
Saga.
Even Saga, she isn't gonna like even her. It's like, I get it. You're facing like these 2 bodied things and stuff. You're not gonna be shooting straight.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't care how
Damage.
trained of an FBI agent you are.
Yeah.
So we're saying like if the DLC has Jesse Faden, the combat will just significantly improve because she'll just be accurate.
Well, yeah, you can
Just,
fly.
like, good at her job. Yeah.
You can
Helps
fly
when
and
you
you've got a
can
magical
hit people
gun.
with your mind.
Yeah.
Mm,
All right,
And
well,
for control too.
yeah.
that was the game. I put like an hour of work into it beforehand.
Nice.
Whoa.
Nice.
It paid off.
That's a good one, dude.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
thanks for running the game for us this week, Jonah. Well, congratulations, everyone. Pat yourselves on the back. We've made it to the end of the podcast. It's now time for final thoughts. Jonah, I'll pass it to you for final thoughts. Anything that's on your mind, anything you want to plug at all?
I got a couple things. First off, right now our Redbubble store is up to 40% off on some merch, so you can go get like
Nice.
our basic T-shirt for like $15. Pretty good deal.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
But on a better note, we have a new channel on the server called the GGD Level Up, and I started this so I could have a place to talk about my fitness / weight loss journey. This is a safe place for people to come together, talk about how they're bettering themselves. So if you've got something that you'd like to share, go ahead and share it on the GGD Level Up channel.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, feels good. And as always, I'm pretty sure on like any of our socials and the actual podcast socials, you can find a permanent invite link to the Discord. Get
Yep.
right in.
Our link
as our
tree
guest,
in the bottom of our descriptions for both the audio and the video version. There's a link to the Discord on there as well.
Very cool. And as our guest, David, final thoughts. It could be anything completely chaotic and random, unrelated to anything at all, or anything you want to plug. Totally up to you.
You should buy Alan Wake 2. That's number one. Alan
Second.
Wake 2 is great. Also, if you are interested in Fallout after watching this episode, we have every single episode reviewed and scored on gamingtrend.com, as well as our interviews with the actors on our YouTube channel. And of course, like I said, we're planning for Summer Game Fest already. So go ahead and start looking at what we've got, because we've got some really cool stuff that's going to be coming out over the next 2 months. But then, of course, as soon as we hit Summer Game Fest, we're going to have all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
All across our stuff. So.
Exciting. Yep. Awesome. Steven, final thoughts.
Yeah, just that Jonah's Australian accent needs work. I didn't really buy it at all, like the whole time he was doing it. So yeah,
how about this?
That's
Arnar.
No bad. Getting there.
All right, Mateo, final thoughts.
So stupid, dude.
It is. So it is so wild to me that they managed to get Lance Henriksen in to play the king in Super Mario Bros. 1993, and then he has like one line in the entire movie. It's the wildest thing. How did they get him, and why did they do that with him? Craziness. No, seriously. Go follow all the Rooster Teeth people. They are all working on new projects now that they no longer are employed, and they need our support.
Yeah, definitely. My final thought is a short anecdote I have about my kid brother. He's 17. I try to raise him right, like I moved out of the house with my now wife, when he was like 8, and distinctly have memories of playing games on the PS2 on a CRT with him, like Dark Cloud, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, whatever. He's now come back around as a 17-year-old to I guess retro gaming now. Isn't that weird? PS2's like retro. He bought a slim PS2 for like $40 off one of his friends, and I was helping him over the phone set it up, and he's just kind of like unfiltered, talking out loud his thoughts as he's setting this thing up, and he gets into the memory card menu, and he's like looking at the games on there. Weirdly, all the guy who had the memory card before him was all like wrestling games and then Final Fantasy 12. But he's like, "Whoa, this thing has Final Fantasy 12 on it. Whoa, it's got like WWE on it. That's crazy." And I'm like, no, those are just the save files. Those aren't. These games aren't digital. These aren't like apps. Like no, like you have to have that save file on the memory card. He's like, "What's the memory card?" And I'm like, "You see that thing sticking out?" It's basically like a flash drive. And he's like, "Wait, your saves are on here?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's so cool." So like, if somebody else has a PS2, you can like put your saves into their PS2. we were talking about games he should get. And I'm like sending him links to eBay listings to get like, Ratchet and Clank 3 or like Jak and Daxter or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll check those out, but I'll see what's on the PS store." And I'm like, no, it's not the PS store. You have to have a disc. And then he's like, wait, the game is the game's on the disc. So like, wait, does that mean if like your friend wants to play one of your games, you can just give him the disc and he can play it? It's like, it was so like, it was like a comedy bit. I couldn't believe it. Like, it is very mind blowing how this stuff is just completely unknown to the younger generations now. It is just fucking wild. But
I forget how it was they were talking about back in the day. Like somebody was, I forget what I was listening to, but like Ratchet and Clank, one of them had, I think it was deadlocked. There was a specific update that Insomniac did, and like they had to literally trick something with like online for them to actually update the game,
like deliver the package,
because you could not update games at that point in time.
Yeah,
I don't remember exactly. Like you'd have to go look it up.
Is what you got.
Like, yeah, it's just really interesting how they had to do that kind of stuff. And also, let's also call out how goated the icons were on those memory cards.
Oh my god, yeah. Like, yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
Little animated guys.
Game Informer used to do this old video series where they would go into like the Game Informer vault and find memory cards, and they'd plug them in, and they'd try and guess who the person was based off of their saves, and it was so fun.
That's what I'm trying to figure out about this one guy, because all the saves are from 2008, and it's just all wrestling games, and then like 150-hour Final Fantasy 12 save. Like, was it like an older brother who was into wrestling, and the one younger brother who like he only got to play when the older brother wasn't playing, and he only wanted to play Final Fantasy 12? Or like,
I think that they really like the drama and the intensity of wrestling. And what game besides that particular Final Fantasy, actually every Final Fantasy game is like wrestling drama. It's like the promos in between the matches.
Definitely. All right. Well, I've been your host, Katie Birthday Late, and as always, happy gaming. Bye.
Bye.
As always, a big thank you to our friend Misdriven for the music in our podcast. If you like what you hear and you want to check out more of what they have, you can pay them a visit on Twitter at MIST_RIVEN 719 or on Bandcamp at Misdriven. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time.
Well, I think that about wraps up our pitches, so I'll turn things over to Steven for the game.
Not me.
Not me.
Not me, my lord.
Turn things over to Jonah for the game.
Not me, my lord.